All right, so it looks like we live. I don't know because Streamlabs just randomly crashed. I just tried to go live. So I don't know if well, the top chat just went off. I'm trying to change the chat, and it's just I don't know what's going on. Here we are. So it says what? Yes, if anybody can see, I have no idea what's going on because Streamlabs just told me I was live, and yeah, I had no idea. So maybe I gotta go in here. So it says live here. It says live now. So am I live? I don't know. Looks like it's moving. So it says live here. Okay. It says live now. That was a real, yeah. Streamlabs, there you go. Don't ever pay for this shit because it's a piece of shit. At all. Just don't ever pay for Streamlabs. That made what just happened made absolutely no sense at all. So, so I guess it's finally we're all out testing. Hi, what's up, man? Jacob the Saint. Yeah, you're like okay. Yeah, that was the weirdest shit for literally no reason why it even did that. So I figured we play a little bit more of this. That was the weirdest shit. I forgot where I left off at. Remember the buttons because this one's switch. Wait, do I have a? Oh, I do have a dash. Because I was playing Metroid Dread, and it went about exactly how I thought it would go. Oh, Metroid Dread went about exactly how I thought it would go. I had an amazing time with it, so I just got lost, and that's I remember coming this way. And that was just it for me in Metroid. But it was a great game. I remember coming this way, I think. No, I don't remember this. But yeah, where am I? Yeah, I did already come this way. So I want to go. But Metroid Dread was fun. I thought it was excellent until I got, as long as you don't get, it's the getting lost shit, man. It's like, it's just not fun. I could have swore I already fought this dude. Yeah, Metroid was great. Fucking loved it. Metroid Dread, great game. It's just the whole getting lost. I don't see why people find it so fun to get lost. Like I just don't get it. But it's like if they would just make a Metroid game and make it just a bit more just flat out just straightforward with what you got to do. What's this? I would like. Oh, it's amazing. Oh shit, I fucked that up. Okay. But I just never know what I'm supposed to do. And so it just gets to a point where I'm just insanely lost out of my fucking mind. I have no idea. Oh, fuck that up again. Okay. I just have no idea where to go in Metroids. I just, like, I wouldn't even classify this as a Metroid. Oh, I can't even get up there. I probably, hang on, can I do that? Okay, wait, does this even go over there? Yeah, I think I need a double jump. Because there's no way for me to... I don't think I can get over there. I think I still need a double jump upgrade. I wouldn't classify this quite... Like, Metroid is its own... It's its own type of annoying. Yeah, I can't get up there. It's its own type of annoying with not knowing where to go. This is like... This feels like it's getting there. To that point where, like, I just don't know where I'm supposed to go and they think it's cute for some reason. I've already been up there anyway. But I did play Mario Wonder. I have Mario Wonder. Yeah, I already came this way. And Mario Wonder was good. I mean, it's Mario, you know, it's not anything. It's not rocket science or anything. It's just, Mario Wonder was cool. It's just a cool game that, oh, shit. So that's where... Oh, God. I think I tried this last stream, and I fucked... I'm just too slow. For real. It's the same fucking... Oh no, this is a new area. Oh God, I'm looking at... Oh my God. It's like it's still, looks like the stream's still going smooth. Luckily. Randy, what's it say? Randy, what's up, AD? Are you getting Spider-Man? No, I don't have, I gotta buy a PS5. I actually raised the money to get a PS5, but I just never bought it. Because I was here's the thing, I didn't get a PS5. And the reason why I didn't get the PS5, I'm still really on the fence about it. Because I did end up raising the money from donations to get it. And okay, I've never been in this area, so I have no idea what's going on. I raised the money, but the reason why I was on the fence because I have Xbox Game Pass. Okay, that's new. He didn't do that before. Hang on. And I'm just on the fence about, because with PC, like, you could just do so much more with PC to the point where, like, on top of that, I got Xbox Game Pass, so I kind of was thinking like I wanted to like just match the shit up with with all Xbox, so it all is on the same page. But then you got Spider-Man, and Spider-Man looks absolutely amazing. So I don't know. Make sure the stream still. Cause I did change. Now I did change some settings in Streamlabs, and it looks like they're working out for the better. Cause it's never. I don't think it's ever run this smooth for this long. While gaming. Why ain't I been hanging these places? Oh God. What is it? Oh God, I didn't know that was gonna hurt me. Okay. Cannot. Because everything I play on here is on PC. I'm playing like shit. Oh. Oh my God. How come you ain't doing it? Okay. That doesn't work. Why would they put this here? I got a new sword. Okay. In the air, press down square. What? I don't know what. What? I don't get what the fuck. Why isn't this working? Maybe I have to be like above it and do it. See, like, why do they all see? This is why I fucking hate Metroidvanias, because they always got to be so mysterious with like basic shit. Like, it's not that serious, dude. I just want to get through a fucking door. This is why I fucking hate Metroidvanias, like, with a passion. I'm hit. Like, there's no need to be this mysterious. Just tell me what the fuck. Oh, okay, so you gotta be really... See, how come it is... Why didn't you just say that? You have to be fucking 3 stories in the fucking sky to do it. You never said that shit. Like, stop being... These motherfuckers be thinking they... See, this is why I don't be playing this shit. Playing shit like Metroidvanias, because they always do faggot shit like that, man. Like, there was no need to do that. It's just unnecessary. You mean, like, that shit, it just, that just was not necessary at all. Now I got to come around here and I gotta read your mind and know what you wanted. Silly shit. See, shit like that is what keeps like certain people away from video games, and I don't blame them, because see, stupid fucking fag shit like that will do it. No, yeah, now that was my bad. He just has a long ass reach. It's still lagging. It looks like it's still smooth. So I guess. Oh. So now I got to call this motherfucker all the way down. Okay. I still like Moonscars better. See, I bet I need a... I'm pretty sure I'm gonna need a double jump, because I can't... Oh, I can't hit it. Okay. Oh, shit. Let me do that again. This game is very good, decent Metroidvania. Could not complete the ending. Last boss is hard. Yeah. This isn't like okay. This still isn't too bad to me. Like Metroid, like I really don't know. Like in my opinion, Metroids are like, and where am I? Oh, so all this is new shit. I'm gonna go to the left first. Like in my opinion, like a true Metroid does not. Okay, so I don't know if he's a bad guy or not because they don't say shit.
Of majestic buildings was built to study the awe-inspiring glow, but hinted at the shape of a basilica once witnessed by fervent worshippers. No one has ever laid eyes upon it again until now. The miracle bestows its blessing upon us all by revealing to cast your eye. We have no more items left, but pray.
I forgot how to do all this shit. Oh, I forgot I had that. I'll have upgrades here. Okay, what's this? Press R1 in the air to activate. Why not? Might as well. We locked everything else off. Where was it? Oh yeah, with Metroid. What did I just buy from him? Oh. So unless I'm getting ready to fight a fire boss, this is just completely worthless. Which I probably will, but yeah, like a true Metroidvania is like there's a certain sense of like just pure frustration you get from being just. I gotta duck, right? Oh god. There's a pure sense of frustration from being lost. Like Metroid and Hollow Knight. How far am I behind? How far am I back? Where the okay. I don't even know where I am anymore. Okay. I gotta go all the way back up there. For some reason, they think this shit is cute to have you, like, backtracking for 15 minutes. But like, there's like a certain sense of like just asshole level frustration that Metroid puts you through. That like other like Metroidvania games just don't do it. Like, or if they do it, like it's still like kind of fun to still play it. But Metroid's problem is like it'll have in my opinion, it'll have a genuinely decent entertaining story, but but the sad part is it just always like falls to just you being like completely stuck and lost and like and that it just kills the problem. The only issue I have with Metroid is that I'll get so into the story or so into what I'm doing because it'll be genuinely fun, and then you just get like horrifically lost. So it just kills like I see it starting to lag now. I just get horrifically lost. So it just kills all the momentum and what's going on, why I'm doing it, shit like that. And I just end up horrifically pissed off. I'll tell you what, let me try this. Let me try unplugging this and then plugging it back up. Because that seemed to fix at least the my video side of it. But yeah, it just kills like because the story is genuinely pretty fucking interesting, pretty fun in it. I think I went a whole nother way. I really don't even have to fight you like that. Oh, I didn't mean to do that. So let's try going this way. Oh God. It's skipping again. If I can see it. I wonder why it does that shit. What's this say down here? I'm gonna try this one more time. I must have some type of leak, like somewhere, fucking it up. Because it should do it like all the time. Maybe it's this adapter I'm using. I don't know. What's up, Nicholas? Yeah, it's what time is it? It's 7:47 here. 7:47 p.m. So it's evening. But thanks for shouting out. Wait, what am I trying to do? Okay. I see. Okay. Oh, fuck. I hit L2. Is this... It's skipping... Yeah, I'm ready to cut it off right here. I see it skipping like way too bad. And I have no idea why it's doing that. It's probably just... Maybe I gotta get a new adapter. Because it's skipping... I can see it. It's skipping way too bad to keep this shit going. Let's try. Maybe let's try disconnecting, because I think it's like connected. I have no idea what I'm doing. I'm just gonna try something and see if it works. I don't know if am I even still live? Oof, it's lagging too bad now. See if that's better. It's just completely frozen. That's fucking crazy how it does that, man. I'm gonna have to turn if it doesn't smooth out. Okay, it looks like it's smoothing out. Yeah, it's got to be like something with the adapter, or I must have some type of memory. Because yeah, it's like totally smooth now. After I don't know what the fuck that's about. So that's it for that. I'll just come back to that after the live stream. So let's do this. Let's just switch it. Yeah, because I don't know why that's behaving that way. I don't know if it's the adapter I'm using, because on these MacBooks, all you have is 2 USB-C ports. So you got to get an adapter to plug in anything, which is a shitty design, by the way. Because then you just have all these adapters with 2 adapters on top of adapters type of shit. But yeah, so it looks like it's smoothed out. So yeah, it's something with that shit, man. With that Elgato, I'm using that capture card. It's something with that. Yeah, but it looks like it's smoothed out pretty well. Now, it's definitely something with that. I'm trying to think, maybe there's a way I can like... Oh, I got an idea, but no, but that's gonna be way too slow. If I were to like if I were to play it on the PC and then stream that to somewhere to like a YouTube channel and then capture that, but that'd be way too slow. By the time you see my reaction to what's going on in the game, I couldn't do that. I'll think about it later. But yeah, it looks like it's smoothed out pretty well now. Mine's hello AD. Any mindset for sales? Nope. No, not at all. I've done sales and I actually did pretty good at it. At the time, who knows what may happen now, but at the time I did good at it. Oh yeah, it's the only thing serious, like cell phones, little shit in the mall. But I did pretty good at it. But also that was a period of time where this is before the internet, man. This is before the internet was a thing. Last time I had a sales job, yeah, I can remember I worked at T-Mobile, and it was all commission. Like there was no hourly wage. So what I remember is that was a time before the internet was around, so people didn't to be fair, a lot more people were just ignorant, so they didn't know that there was no real place you can go for like genuine reviews on phone companies or phones or anything like that. So you could back then you could just get away. Okay, either you can get away with more, or you as a salesman were actually ignorant and you were just saying what other salesmen were saying, type of thing. And on top of that, you had to just have you had to approach people, talk to them, type of thing. We had a store. We were actually in a store, not like a kiosk or something like that. But it was just a different time. So honestly, I don't even know if I had to go back into sales now. I don't even know how I would do with it, because here's like if I don't agree with whatever it is that's being sold, like I'm not gonna lie to somebody to get them in something. Like if I don't think you genuinely belong in a car with the payment of like that's gonna be like $700 a month. Like I'm just not even going. I'm just gonna tell you, don't even get that. I think that's a horrible price per month. Like I'm just not like I'd have to be in a hard position to have to sit up and lie like that. And when I say hard position, I mean like I can't feed my son. Bills are piling up, that type of shit. Then I could do it. But if I'm not in that position, then I couldn't do it. Couldn't do it. Let me see. But no, man. Yeah, no. I'm thinking about the last time when I got that car in the U.S. And I remember, it was a long story, but I was getting ready to get a car for cash at this lot, right? And it was a much cheaper price because it was a rental car, which I don't have any problem. I test drove the car. I thought it was a great car, so I wanted it. So when the salesman found out that it was going to be paid for in cash, then he was like, "Oh well, if you're gonna pay as much in cash, then you should get this, some Dodge Charger or some shit like that, right?" And he was trying to push that on a payment. And I said, I'm not. If I gotta buy something on payment, then I'm just not buying. I'm just gonna keep driving my same old car. I'm not going on a payment. I did a car payment one time in my life, and it stressed me out so bad knowing that I had that payment that I paid it off like 2 or 3 years early, because my dad, he actually co-signed for that car. It was a Dodge Stratus, and it was a real nice car when I first got it, but just like anything, it just aged. And I remember my payments were like $200, like $200 a month back then for that car. I was maybe, I can't remember how old I was, but my payments were like $200 a month. And I remember it stressed me out so bad knowing I had a car payment that like it got to a point where I just took like every extra dime I had to pay it off early. I just didn't want to deal with that, right? And on top of that, my dad's name is on it, and I'm just a firm believer of if I fuck up, I want to be only me that fucks up, right? Like, for example, there was this Batman animated movie. I think it was called Gotham Knight or something like that. And in this animated movie, Lucius Fox comes up with a device that can deflect bullets. If Batman gets shot at, it would like create some type of field, and it would deflect the bullet immediately, right? So Batman's like, yeah, that's gangster. Let me put that shit on. So Batman, he wears it and goes out that night, and he gets shot at, but one of the bullets bounce off of him and hit somebody else, and could have killed him. But I don't think it kills him, but it hit somebody else. So after he was done with the night, he took it back to Lucius, said like, yo, like if I go out and get if I fuck up, I want to be the only one that fucks up. I don't want to involve anybody else in being fucked up, right? So he gave the whole device back to Lucius and never used it again. And I agree with him. I'm on that page 1,000%. Like if I'm caught up in some money situation or something like that, like that's my responsibility. I don't want anybody else get tied up in it. None of that. I just take whatever blow, take whatever consequence that comes with it, and just move on, right? And I was always like that from a young age, from a very young age. I was always money conscious. I was always like that. Yeah. So yeah, when I when I had that first car on the car payment, it was a Dodge Stratus. It was a nice car too, but I remember I told that story a long time ago where I still remember when I had finally gotten the payments down to like finishing time, right? Like it was almost done. And I just had no more. I think the last I had like maybe like $70 or $35, something like that on the principal payment, and I just had no money to pay it. Like no, I just had absolutely no money to pay it. It was in wintertime. I still remember that because I had to go to the library to check the loan account, and I just couldn't pay it. I just had no money to pay it, and I had paid it off like years in advance, right? And I remember when I finally came across the money, maybe like a couple weeks later or something like that, I tried to go pay it, and it was just gone. I went to my bank to look it up, and it just wasn't there. So for a while, I thought my dad probably just logged in and paid it. So I remember I talked to him a while later, and he said, "No, I never paid that." So I never paid it. And so we just came to the conclusion that the bank probably just paid it. They probably just somebody seen it was just was decent and just said, "Look, he paid it off like this fucking 20-year-old kid paid this car loan off like in half the time. It's like under $100. It wasn't even $100 what was left, but I just didn't have any money and I paid it off." But that was long before military or anything like that. That was before university education, military, any sense of what's it saying? What's it say? It's higher than recommended. But that was long before any of that was an issue. I mean, was a thing. So it was especially back then. It was kind of a big deal. But yeah, I'm not. I'm just not a fan of car payments. But why did I even start on that? Oh, about the sales because the car sales when okay, yeah, because when that car broke. Well, okay, so I told a story a while back of how like I probably should have gotten a bad car accident if somebody didn't if this dude I went to school with didn't want to suck my dick when I like went to hang out with him one time. Long story, but if it wasn't for that period, I probably would have ended up in a bad car accident. So when my tie rod broke, I had the car towed to to a mechanic I knew in Dayton, Ohio, who charges great rates. Real good dude. He told me his back history of how he started, because how he became an independent mechanic. Real great guy. Oh, he was always reliable, did fast, great work, and there was never any problems with him. He had his own garage. He was cool. So I had the car towed to him. And he said, "Well, yeah, the frame's bent." So it's like, oh, so he said, "Yeah, that's not good." Like he said, I could bend it, I could like temporarily fix it, but it's not gonna be right. Like it's gonna keep fucking up, type of thing. So, and he was talking to me like almost in a dad voice, like, "Yeah, dude, like you need to get rid of this motherfucker. Like it's time to get rid of this motherfucker." So that's when I ended up getting the newer car that the car salesman tried to put me on a payment with, and that was yeah. I just don't, man. I'm not a fan of sales. I'm not a fan of sales. What's up, Jen? This game is very good. Decent Metroid. Could not. Okay, I read that. Hey, the afternoon. Yeah, it's evening here. but I'm too old. That's a really good game. I'm too old. Something, Rex. I work a sales job, and dealing with people's egos is the hardest part to deal with. I sell vacation packages, by the way, which costs $1 million or like $700. I mean, now something like a vacation deal, I think that would be cool because by the time they come to you, like they want to go on vacation. So at that point, you can just tell them like what they're going to like. At that point, like a vacation sales job, I think I could do that. I think I could do a vacation, something like that, where it's like something the person doesn't really need, but they just more so kind of want with extra time. So now it kind of almost becomes like almost like a hobby to like try to find a deal kind of thing. I think I could do that in good faith. I think as long as I knew what was going on, with the company and all that, I think I could do that. But something like a car or something like houses, like those worlds just get so sketchy real fast that I don't want anything to do with cars, houses, cell phone plans, shit like that. I don't want to touch any. I would prefer not to touch any of that world. As long as as long as I'm in a position where I have an option, I would never touch that. Like areas where that are more necessities, right? But something like a vacation, I think I could do that. I wouldn't mind at least trying that. Because I think that kind of, again, I think that kind of trickles more into like the hobby side of it, like, oh, let's see what kind of deal I can find you, type of shit. And because at the end of the day, like they really don't need it. So like by the time a responsible person is going to come to you, they have enough money to live off of. They're going to spend money on a vacation, right? So that at that point, I wouldn't feel bad like trying to swindle my way into selling them something that they probably shouldn't. They probably really don't need. But yeah. What's up, CGI Line? What's up, August Line? What's up, Mo? My car payments are 000 better. An old beater car is stress free to drive. Oh yeah, Mo. I drive a Ford Focus. It's an old Ford Focus. I barely drive it because we got the trains out here, the trams and all that shit. So I maybe drive it once every 2 weeks. I got a Ford Focus, man. Long as it ain't rusted out, so I would prefer it just not be rusted out, and it just has a relatively decent appearance, as long as it doesn't have holes in it and shit like. But even if it did have holes in it, at the end of the day, man, especially in a place like Prague, like by the time I'm driving so little, it wouldn't matter to me either way. But even if your car had holes, I mean, I really wouldn't give a fuck as long as that because once you get from point A to point B. All you really like after that is just worrying about what other people think about it, type of shit. As long as that car can turn, as long as the car can turn on, it can. As long as it can turn on, it's not horrifically loud. It can stop, and it's not leaking. Then go. I say you fucking drive that motherfucker. I just got done watching. A CNBC, which I really hate newscasters and news reporters, which is funny because I don't even really want to call him a friend because we're not like friends, but we know each other. He grew up in the neighborhood next to me. I'll be on like YouTube, like watching news from the U.S. and it'll be him. Like he'll be like, "Thanks, Rod." Like, oh, guess fucking. I should say his name, but it's a common name. But I feel like in that world, like you would know, it wouldn't take long to find him. But I'll be watching something like Yahoo or something like YouTube. It'd be like news reporters like talking, and then he'll just pop up, and it's him. Shit. So I'm saying I hate news reporters, and somebody I know is like, I say he's probably getting up there in the ranks with reporting like decent shit. To be honest, he went to a good college though, right after high school, and his parents were really into that professional world, so it makes sense. But But yeah, I was watching CNBC, which CNBC, all those all them datelines and all them, like those motherfuckers are horrible, right? Because they don't like Anchorman was the perfect the movie Anchorman was like the perfect reality on newscasters and news reporters, because the reality of it is they don't actually live life, man. They not actually doing anything. They just talk. They studied and they learn how to read about life, right? So they don't know what the fuck they're doing, right? And then on top of that, they have to dress it up to make you want to listen to it, right? So it's like they don't like, so they're getting shit horrifically wrong. I told you about the time a while back. I was watching a CNBC thing about it got on the price of inflation and food and shit like that, and they brought up like the most expensive countries for childcare, and Czech Republic was like, it was like number 2 or number 3, while Kratos' mom is sitting here on 3 years maternity leave, and they have relatively speaking free school for kids, and you could have, it's a whole story on childcare, but it's definitely not expensive at all. And CNBC had Czech Republic because they know most people just won't know, so it's like they could just write it, and the amount that news reporters, especially on international news, the amount of bullshit lies that they can get away with because they know you just won't know, and if they just say it with a deep voice, and with that certain flow, well, yeah, you know what they said, Ron? They said they didn't know that fucking faggot shit that a bunch of YouTube motherfuckers are starting to talk like now. Yeah, guess what happened to the Mario series? Well, he went over the bridge, and then he went over there, and then fucking fag shit. Fucking hate that shit. I fucking hate it. I asked a buddy of mine, I said, he never replied to me. I wrote him on Instagram because we was friends on Instagram. And I said, hey man, do they teach you how to talk like that when you go to newscaster school? And he never replied. He probably got mad. But I wrote on one of his posts because for a while on Instagram, he turned into Ron Burgundy for real. For a while on Instagram, I'm not even joking. For a while, Instagram, I think on Facebook, he even started to post like he was always reporting the news, right? So it would be like, I would scroll and it would be like him reporting or him like posting something about news, and at the top he would just write breaking. And it would just be like some news report. And the funny part is he talked like that. He went like, yeah, Rod. Well, I went to the store and I went to, well, back to you, Rod. I'm like, do they teach you to talk like that in news? Is that literally like, is the requirement for news reporter school is to know how to read and read it in a certain voice? Like that's literally like, no, some of them, they do have to edit their own videos and shit like that, but that shit is wild. What was I supposed to see? Oh, CNBC, they was talking about cars and how the electronic cars, they starting to sit and all that shit. They not selling how they thought they would sell because people want to go back to what they already know, which is the gasoline shit. But then they brought up another point that I didn't even think about throughout my whole time studying into electronic cars, is that when that battery goes dead, they not gonna last. And like a gasoline car can last you 40 something years, 50, as long as you take care of it, it'll last you 40, 50, 60 years without any significant replacements. Once you do the math on how much you paid for it and then the proper fixing along the way, as long as you took care of it, most cars are relatively speaking pretty cheap to maintain. Unless everybody's gonna end up with just like a bad scenario, like the transmission and automatic fucks up, something like that. But for the most part, as long as most people just follow guideline and just drive it like they have sense, a car will last a long time without very many issues. But the part that I didn't think of is with those electronic cars, those battery cars. When the batteries die out, they supposedly expensive to fix. I don't know, but just the theory of like the whole car is worthless after that battery and will die type of shit. I didn't even think about that. But that was an interesting part, if they are even right, because again, it's CNBC. Half the shit they say is bullshit anyway, or half of it, or the other half is taken from some privileged kid who has no idea about reality and only reads the cliff notes of some other privileged kid's position in life. So they have no awareness on reality. So if that logic does work out, that does make sense. With the electronic cars, because then on top of that, because the bit that I did study into it is electronic cars. They're still electric cars are still expensive. And it's called a green tax, right? So the for any bump in technology like that, in order to keep it affordable to be able to sell it, you're gonna have to tax. You're gonna have to take more money out the people to pay for it in some type of tax program, and some type of tax extraction from the population, right? So on top of that, if I'm not mistaken, I think Joe Biden was the one who actually did it. He granted that fucking industry like billions to try to offset that green tax. Because okay, when you have pretty much when you're pushing the edge on technology and you're trying to bring up a country up to that next level of technology, well, what comes along with that is you're going to need a more educated workforce to be able to actually execute it. So more education generally means you have to pay more, right? So it all becomes more expensive. So after that green tax went through, and on top of that, Joe Biden just granted like I think it was like 30 billion or some shit. Like it was something I can't remember exactly, but he did grant a large amount of money to it. Um, on top of that, it brought the actual price of the vehicle down. But even with that, the car is like it inevitably is going to die, right? Whereas a gasoline car is not. Even though skeptics can say that they've been working on getting gasoline cars to end up like that, but they never fully succeeded. The electric car is going to die. Like there's no way around it because it's just running off a battery, and a battery is only going to last for so long, right? So that logic does make sense. So you got people with these car loans getting these electric cars, and they're really just poor investments for people who, or it's really just a poor investment for the majority of people. When you look at the average wages in North America, it's just a poor investment because you're gonna go and spend four, five, $600 a month for this car, and once you pay it off, well, you're gonna have to just trade it in and get another one, right? So there's no sense of that. There is no investing. You're essentially just buying a rental car at that point, right? You're just eternally on Hertz rental program at that point, right? Like there's nothing really in it for you, right? I mean, another argument can be, oh well, electric can end up easier if you charge at home. Well, a lot of people, okay, at the rate this housing market is going, most people don't even own their own home, so now they got to go pay extra at the fucking electric charge station, right? Because they're not paying because it's going to be a tax on that. I would guarantee you it's going to be a tax on that electric because they had to build that motherfucker to put it in there. So it's going to be more expensive in some way to go out there and charge out there. That wasn't done for free, right? So it's like there's no real reason for an electric car at this point. Like, okay, there's going to be a part of the population who just likes newer technology. Like my uncle, he was one of those. Like if it was new technology, he just bought it. He did anything he had to do, and threw away the last generation, whatever it was, and he was one of them iPhone users back then, right? One of them typical iPhone people. Like if the iPhone 16 comes out tonight, well, iPhone 15 is garbage. Buying the 16. You're gonna have that part of the population, right? Then you're gonna have the other part of the population who maybe think that they're actually saving the environment, which they're not. The amount of pollution that's saved from an electric vehicle is literally negligible at best. Not net negligible. Yeah, that's the proper word to use. The amount of pollution that's actually saved from driving an electric car it's not even worth the time talking about it. But the thing is, most people are not aware of how much pollution actually goes on in the world. So if you say something like 30 billion tons of pollution is saved from cars, well, most people think, oh, that's a lot. But that's really not, dude. Like it's nothing. Like the amount of the amount of pollution that's saved from electric cars, the amount whatever you think recycling is doing is it's nothing. It's nothing. It's a waste of time. That's not the target goal for this shit at all. So with that being said, there's not very many incentives for people to buy an electric car unless they just want to keep up with either social status or they just want those technology chasers. Outside of those two, there's no reason for you to buy an electric car at this stage. There's none. at all. Or maybe you just like the way it looks, right? Something like that. But there's no reason for you to buy it. And especially now with smartphones, now you can't say it's the technology because, you know, you got GPS shit on your fucking phone. There's no reason to get it for that, right? On top of that, motherfuckers, they got to update their car before they could drive it. Like, I mean, now, this is not to say I think they should stop doing it. I think they should keep doing it because they'll eventually figure out something and it'll catch on and grow. And that's how technology usually works. But at this point, at this stage, especially a car payment for an electric car is a waste of money. It's just a complete waste of time and waste of money. Oh, that's it. A Tesla needs a battery change every 6 to 8 years. It costs about $10K yeah. Yeah. It's just, I just there's nothing for the majority of people in the US, and electric cars is nothing but it's a waste of time. And the dream about being the Jetsons one day, that's maybe for like the slightly older population here, but the Jetsons, you know, the futuristic imagination shit. But for the vast majority of people, electric cars are a waste of time and a waste of money. Because I got started reading, because I read a book that Bill Gates wrote actually about it. And then after that, I started diving more into like the whole pollution situation. Yeah, like you're not, even with recycling, dude, it's like absolutely nothing. Like it's not even, more money in pollution is being spent on trying to get you to believe that recycling does any good than recycling actually does. Like it's a waste of time. It's a waste of time. But the other part that I find interesting is this is what I find interesting is as humans, I think we severely overvalue our worth. Right? In the universe. I think and I've always said this on here. I think we severely overvalue our worth and and what we're here, why we're here, what we're here, about all this shit like that, right? Because here's the thing. Okay. If you look at any other insect or animal, bacteria or parasite, right? If you look at any other living thing that moves and does something that isn't favorable to the environment in some way, right? You'd be like, oh, that's just nature. Maybe we should fix it because it would help us as humans, but that's nature. That's what they were supposed to do, right? And but for some reason, which I could elaborate on, for some reason, humans want to think that they're above nature. That they're above, like we want to think like we're the boss of it, right? Because we can manipulate it. But we don't see ourselves as being part of the zoo. Like we're just another animal in the zoo. Right? So I'm trying to keep on these comments and keep my train of thought. But oh yeah, so with pollution, right? So people talk about, oh yeah, well we make plastic and you know and all these horrible fumes and blah 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 blah. And my perspective has always been the same. Like that's what we were supposed to do. In this whole what's the word I'm looking for? This is for lack of better word, for this whole movement throughout life, right? Living on a planet, everything that humans are doing is what we were supposed to do. Just like if you were to look at a lion, you'd be like, well, that lion did it. He was supposed to do it. He's a lion, right? You would look at a centipede, you'd be like, oh, a centipede was supposed to do it. He's a centipede, right? As humans, we're no different. Everything that we've done to the earth was everything we were supposed to do to the earth. Right? We're not above the earth and you know and orchestrating orchestrating as gods what the earth is. We're part of it. This is what we was always supposed to do this. If we're doing it, we was always supposed to do it. Right? We were supposed to make plastic. We were supposed to make trains. We were supposed to make cars. We were supposed to like drink and and have sex. We were supposed to do it because we're human, right? I mean, I could go into why. I could go into like where that comes from, but that's a whole nother Long rant, but this is what we're supposed to do. Right? Another thing I want to touch on, because I've been thinking of this for a while now, is the concept of aliens, right? I think it's really pathetic. I think it's pathetic at the human. I think the human ego about. I think the human ego on aliens is pathetic, and I think it's so pathetic, like on a deeper level that people don't even realize how pathetic it is. Right. So let's use this as an example. Let's say, let's say, let's say a centipede. Let's say there's a group of centipedes, like in the middle of the forest, right? And these centipedes, they're centipedes, like they got 100 legs and all that shit like that, right? And they look like centipedes. They look like centipedes, right? But they've learned to write and communicate, right? To where we can understand it, right? So let's say a human were to go to these centipedes and actually hang out and talk to them, right? And the centipede's like, yeah, what's up? And you'd be like, yeah, what's up, bro? You want a beer? And yeah, come on. Yeah, let's go fuck some hoes. All right. Let's fuck. I know this one centipede bitch. That bitch fine as hell. Let's fuck shot her. Right? And you do it, right? And y'all get to talking. You, a human, and the centipede, right? So you talk to the centipede and be like, yo, I bet there's life on other planets. And the centipede be like, yeah, you know what? Because look, we've seen them throughout our history of centipede life that went back 10,000 years. We've seen them. And the centipede pulls out a drawing of an alien that loosely looks like a centipede. He has the same, let's say that centipede's imagination of what an alien from another planet would look like would loosely look like a centipede. It would have, it would have 100 legs, but its head might just be shaped a little bit different, and its bottom feet might be a little longer, right? You would look at the centipede and be like, you are dumb as fuck. Like, out of any way biologically that something could create, your mind can only see something that loosely looks like you, right? Like, so that centipede would only see aliens as looking like him, but just slightly different. You would see how ridiculous that looks and sounds, right? It's the same thing, I think, with humans. With humans, when we draw pictures of aliens, yeah, we've seen them all along, blah, 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 and these are the pictures and all this shit, and it'd be a motherfucker with 2 legs, 2 arms, and a head, and eyeballs, nose, mouth, and all this shit. Like, it looks ridiculous. Like, think. Think. All throughout history, there was a motherfucker talking about they knew how to walk on water. They can turn 1 ball into 3 balls. They can make 1 egg into 50 eggs. It was always a motherfucker saying. But whenever push came to shove, nobody could ever prove it. Right? Think about how pathetic humans are, dude. Like, in the ego of humanity, just how pathetic historically. Like, historically, think about how pathetic our ego has always been. Be like, it's pathetic. It makes me depressed just thinking about being a human. Like, I just be depressed sometimes. Like, damn. And I was saying about this before I started the live stream. Let's think about like David Copperfield, right? So there might be some younger people who may not know who David Copperfield is or was. That's a debatable way to state him, but David Copperfield is a magician. He was real famous in I don't want to say he got real famous around the 90s. I'd say 90s to 2000, early 2000s, when he probably died off and he just went to Vegas and just did magic tricks in Vegas from then on. Like Celine Dion, that's a lot of people do. When they get a certain level of famous, they just live in Vegas and do magic tricks and and they just kind of live the rest of their life out performing in Vegas. But the reason why I feel sorry for David Copperfield, for real. And it's not for the reasons that he would even think. Right? The reason I feel sorry for David Copperfield is because he knows what he's doing is bullshit, right? It's a magic trick. That's all it was supposed to be. It was supposed to be like, wow, how the fuck did you get 2 eggs out the cup and I ain't see 1 egg even go in there? Wow, that's all it was ever supposed to be, right? right? But since the beginning of human recording of after imaginations took off, humans want to believe that magic is real. They want to believe that some aliens, they want to believe there's some magical, mystical man from the future. It's always this, there's from the beginning of since human imagination took off from drawings on the wall, it was always that. Always that. Right? It was always that. It just kind of dumbed down into either magic or religion, right? And I could elaborate on that, but that's a whole nother hour long of my typical rants. I don't feel like doing that, but it's always been there, right? So the reason why I feel sorry for David Copperfield is because I can tell you right now, like he wants to tell you that it's all bullshit. You mean like he knows it's bullshit because he's performing it. He knows how to do the tricks. He's David Copperfield. But motherfuckers want to believe that what he's doing. There's always some motherfucker who thinks that he sold his soul to the devil and all that shit like that. No, it's a magic trick. But it's always that motherfucker that, and then they'll grow. It's got to be real. It was magic, and motherfuckers are fascinated by that shit, man. Like it and all it was, okay, okay, so the quick history on magic was, because it was always an issue with humanity. I'm going to call it an issue. That's what it was, because it's not real. Right? Because again, whenever push comes to shove, whenever motherfuckers get violently, brutally raped, killed, and murdered, motherfuckers don't magically pull $1 million out their asshole to pay them off. It never happens like that, right? Magic only happens in controlled environments where motherfuckers are peaceful and happy, and there's some money to be taken out their pocket. But whenever, you know what I mean, when Israel got bombed, how come David Copperfield ain't just pop up there and fly up there and catch them bombs and turn them into confetti? See, historically, it never happens. See, when wars pop off, Jesus don't come walking down the street in the middle of a fucking war and be like, poof, and turn all they weapons into feathers. See, historically, because it's all bullshit. They bedtime stories. It's shit to think about and just play with and then move on with your life. It's not real. All right? All right? It's not real. All right? And these are the things that piss me off about humanity. Shit's not real. Motherfuckers going to war over some damn magic trick religion bullshit. It's magic tricks. That's all. It's not real. Get over it. Grow up. Look at human history, dude. Again, at any time, whenever there was any plagues, anything like that, again, Jesus ain't come walking out the fucking front door, and you know, the motherfuckers will do any type of mental gymnastics to validate the shit instead of just actually look at human history, dude. It's fucking astounding. It's just. It's wild shit, man. And motherfuckers go out and die for that shit. Like, what? It's not real. Motherfuckers are dying for that. It's not real, dude. Like, it's enough to make it go crazy. Just thinking about the realities of just humans. Like, shit's ridiculous. Like, it's just ridiculous. But I feel sorry for David Copperfield because he knows it's bullshit, right? But it's like, at this point, his greed can't let him admit it because then motherfuckers, but even then, some motherfuckers are still, they believe he's probably the son of the devil or some shit like that. Some motherfuckers out there who, I bet you there's some cults out there who believe it because they didn't fell for the magic trick and drink the Kool-Aid and they in there. They all the way gone into it, but it's not real, man. Like, motherfuckers out there, they getting bombed over quarrels about some invisible bullshit. These tensions, that's where it's gonna stem from, right? It's unbelievable. It's just enough to make it go crazy. Like, I mean, I'm all for letting people do whatever they want to do, just as long as they don't hurt anybody. But yeah. That's wild shit. I feel sorry for David. Well, David Copperfield, in my opinion, David Copperfield is essentially just is is magic is its own religion, and okay, over the course of time, okay. So this is a quick recap, and I'll quickly go over that. The conversion from magic to religion, because magic and witchcraft used to be highly valued in throughout human history. The magic and witchcraft, they were highly valued, right, in most societies for the majority of human history, right? They because that any way that you could come up with any ritual to try to get whatever you wanted, because it all comes back to human greed and need for survival. However you can get either human greed or human survival, that person is going to be the new god, right? So any spiritual ritual, magic, all that shit, they were the gods, right? Until out in Europe, when Christianity finally popped off, and it was finally seen, oh, like you can actually go to heaven if you were poor. That's when motherfuckers started believing in Jesus, right? Like it was a whole, like, if you were poor, you weren't just condemned to be in, a lowly piece of shit your whole life. Like God can still like you, because it was before then. Like only rich people could study like the mainstream religions. Only rich people or enslaved people who had to go fight in wars. Those are the only two people who were, like, for the most part, who were generally allowed to actually study religions and be respected by like the God in that religion. Everybody else was just like a worthless piece of shit, right? Then Christianity came along and said, oh no, it don't have to be like that. You can be broke as fuck and God could like you because you're suffering, right? So motherfuckers switched their whole game up and put all, because throughout history it's always been, the 80-20 rule. 20% of people have most of the money and 80% of the people are all poor and struggling. It's always been like that. At best 80-20. That's usually the best scenario. So when that 80% finally go, oh wow, like, we got self-esteem, we can believe this shit. We can believe, oh yeah, I can go to heaven, because God took, pity on my soul for struggling. As long as I just keep faith, I can go in there and go to heaven and whatever the fuck, right? After that, only Jesus and God can do miracles, and anybody else was considered evil. And it pretty much happened overnight. Like that conversion, relatively, to human development, it happened overnight. So anybody who was still like trying to do magic independently for a long time was like, no, bro, you the devil. And that was that conversion for a long time. Like magicians, like, were not liked at all. Like motherfuckers would kill you for that shit. Because poor people wanted to go to heaven. That greed, man. That's wild. What's up, another dimension? Is David Copperfield still alive? Yeah. That's the magic trick. Yeah. Because David Copperfield was like 50 when I remember watching him as a kid. That motherfucker he wasn't young back then. He was a grown ass man back then. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, because some people was talking about him somewhere, and they said his shows are like awful now. Like he's old. He don't give a fuck anymore, man. Like they say his shows are terrible. They paid like $500 a ticket or something like that to go see him in Vegas, and he was just like awful. Like he was half drunk, didn't care about saying anything. And yeah, no, he's still, from what I know, he's still alive. He said he out in Vegas doing magic tricks. I think Boys to Men, they out there performing. Well, last time I was out there, they was performing. Boys to Men, for those of you in the U.S. who know who Boys to Men is, they was out there. I gotta fix that lampshade. I cleaned it and never put it back all the way. But yeah, man, like the magic shit and religion. Like here's like, if motherfuckers would just like actually read some shit instead of just like listening to like YouTube reels and Facebook reels, trying to get the education through that method, and just actually look through human history. Like it's so easy to fucking understand like what, the reality of shit, right? Like I'm not, like, if you just choose to believe in religion, I'm not bashing you. I mean, go for it. But I mean, you got to understand historically what happens with religions, right? So okay, so here's the other area where, because not now, because I stumbled on this book and was reading this for a while. I'm about a third of the way through. It's a short book, The Nature of Time. It's a pretty good book. It's holding my interest. But so you also have to remember, okay, so the theory of religion is the same thing like countries and languages, right? It's the same thing. We're just living in our period of Christianity and Catholicism and the Islam shit. Like we're just living in that shit now. But it's the same thing, right? So like when countries would get take like so when a country would like go out and get taken over by another country, well, the country who won, they would either choose to burn up all the conquered countries' libraries, or they would take whatever they thought was good and take it and act like that it was theirs, right? That's what would happen, right? So religion was exactly the same way. When like there would be, let's say, like one religion who believed that frogs were the eternal source of happiness, and another religion believed that self-pity was the eternal sense of happiness because whatever philosophy they had. Well, when they would get into a war, let's say this one won, well, they would choose, well, we don't want to believe that frogs or that, so we'll leave that go. But we did like what you said about other things, so we'll keep that. And so that's how religions would morph over time. And so right now we're just in, let's just use Christianity for an example. We're just in the sense of Christianity right now as one of the biggest religions on the planet, because of how it molded, it shaped, it took over other religions, and they took what they wanted and what they didn't want and formed it into their. And it's still changing. It's changing, now, right? That's just how it is. But again, like people don't tend to read, so they have no real awareness on the realities of what religion actually is, right? But yeah, imagine paying double or triple of what you're paying for gas at the pump. Oh man, like me living in Czech Republic, I've missed out on so much of the inflation. But okay, to be fair, gas has always been expensive in Europe, from what I understand, especially in Czech. Since I first came to Czech Republic, it was always $4 or $5 a gallon. The U.S. gets. Here's the thing, man. The U.S. gets away with a lot, but the thing is, Americans don't really know how much they're getting, or they don't know their own options. But America, you can get away with a lot in North America. But gas has always been expensive out here. But the thing is, you really don't need it because most people in Europe can just ride a bus or ride a train somewhere or a tram, and for $200 a year, and be fine, right? So you really don't need a car. Use more. Most people just kind of want a car. Um, but yeah, even when it comes to food, I missed because I will watch the little reels how people talk about food prices in America and how supposedly it's gone like to crazy amounts. Like I missed out on. I missed a lot of that. I missed it. I missed all that inflation on now. There's been some inflation here, like for example, like buying ribs. Like, well, it's always kind of been like that in Czech Republic, though. Like, if you want to go out and buy, like, let's say if you want to go to a restaurant and get ribs, like, it's not very like in many ways, it's actually worth it to just go to a restaurant and have it prepared for you than cook it at home, because the price difference versus, and then when you add in cooking it and preparing it, like you'd be better off. And but even as it's not super expensive, like you almost be better off just going out to eat, especially if you're tired here. Where in America, it was like, depending on your scenario, where you live, like it used to be a much bigger separation. Like say for example, like if you want to just cook your own burgers at home, it could be a lot cheaper than going out to eat. Where from what I've been hearing from the U.S., that's slowly like evened out to the point where like both of them are just like expensive. But now here you can go out to eat for, you can get you a good meal. But okay, but also you got to keep in mind the spending power here, like the Czech crown spending power and their wages. So I have to add that in. So let's say for me, if I go out to a restaurant and spend $20 to eat, right? For an American price, that's not bad. But you got to remember, like most Czechs earn half the wages of North America. So for them, that's the spending power of $40 for one meal, right? So that's a big meal for them, right? But for me, it's $20. America, that's that's a great deal, especially with how the quality's gonna cook. They're gonna cook it. What's your opinion on Stoicism? I never studied it too in depth. I mean, I've read a lot of philosophers who, well, most philosophers, especially from those ancient Greek times, they always were Stoics. That was like the whole fight back in those times. Like it's weird how that was. The whole fight back in that time was to try to not want shit. Right? They like their whole thing was just to fight desires back in those ancient Greek times. So like pretty much any philosopher you're gonna read is gonna be on Stoic shit. Um, I mean, now my thing is this: I'm totally for it, but on the other hand, like you have to understand. Okay, until there's gonna be some technology that's gonna like change your brain. Um, you have to realize that you are still a human. So like you're going to just want some shit, and the longer you're going to fight it, the more it's going to make you want to at the later stages. So you have to like come up with plans with that. But even then, I'm humble enough to accept the reality of it. I don't have anything against stoic shit. I'm probably more of a stoic in the reality, like in my regular life, just naturally, just because I just kind of my path in life and how I ended up, and the things I've seen, done, and experienced. So I just kind of know like everything is just a big stupid game. Money, all of it's just a big dumb game. um, but yeah, I don't have anything against it. I think it's actually pretty good. I think that especially, well, I wouldn't say the U.S. I'd say the world. I say the world would definitely benefit the world to at least try to adopt a lot of it. But at this point, consumerism became its own type of religion. On top of that, so that consumerism is going to pretty much strip out the stoic shit and the feeding into desires and what you want to try to because and so I think in today's world it's going to be harder to be a stoic for most people especially once you have to go out there and you have to hang out with with typical people, and typical people are going to be absorbed into consumerism because you have to find a way to express yourself, to find your independence, right? Because let's just be honest about it, due to where capitalism's ended up, you're not going to have any independent thought, not very much. And again, these are psychologically documented, or so on a sociological level, these are documented. These are confirmed. This is confirmed. You're not going to have any independence once you work once you work a 40-hour work week. Your independence is gone. I think it was Adam Smith or it was one of those guys who said there's no difference between a man who works 40 hours a week and a slave. The mentality that comes out of both of those, once they've done it for like 20 years, there's no difference in between those two men or women. A human that's put in that in that conditioning. There is no independence. So once you lack independence, you're going to put a whole lot more value in the one thing, in the little things that you can control, right? So when people were just slaves, the things that they could control was their belief in God, that God would eventually save them and all that shit like that, right? That was the one thing that they could control, was their thoughts about God and all that, right? Well, after slave, I'm using the U.S. as an example. After just I'm using that just as an example to get to a point. So after slaveries would typically end, and and capitalism inevitably would take off. People are working long hours, so what do? They have to find some kind of way they have to run to find some type of identity, right? And so what's it going to be? It's going to be, I want a certain type of shoe. I want a certain type of hat. I want a certain type of jacket, a certain type of cup, and whatever, right? So now this will now be my identity, because because the person themselves is unaware that they've lost all their identity by investing pretty much 60 to 70% of their waking hours into somebody else's shit, so they don't even have their own identity, right? Yo, AD, you always say people need to be slaves. Only limited people can control independence. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Well, that is the other part. Yeah, yeah. And I told my girl that on the trim. She just wrote me right now. She's not here right now. I told her, yeah. But most people do. I would say the majority of people now, especially nowadays, need to be slaves, right? And I'm gonna elaborate on that. Not to say I'm better or worse than anybody. I'm gonna explain why I think that most people need to be slaves. The reason why that is it's I think from here on out, it's from where we are now in life on out, most people need to be slaves. I'm gonna go fill this water bottle up. I'll be right back. I'm gonna explain it. Okay, so the reason why I say most people need to be slaves is because wait, let me make this bigger. And most people, I would say most people are going to be pretty much destined to be slaves. Move this over here. Is because nowadays, especially now with smartphones and with just the internet, right? A lot of focus has been lost in society, right? Because now you can just hop on the internet and look at whatever you want the second you want to look at it, right? And then on top of that, it's just information overload for people. And on top of that, anybody can post to the internet, whether they're talking about right shit or they're just making shit up or they're intentionally making wrong shit just to make you think that you don't know what you're doing, so you'll watch them more, right? So with that being said, the reality of what's going to happen to most people on the planet that have access to the internet and technology is there's not going to be any sense of focus, any sense of dedication to any one thing is going to dwindle more and more and more and more and more, right? Unless that person had parents who were on them and made them and got them in. Very few people will genuinely go out and try to become one thing if left alone. Very few people will actually go out there and do it, right? Very few people would do that, right? So unless that kid had parents who was like, come on, we doing this, whatever, something like that, and put something in them, right? That kid has no chance. So essentially, most kids, the majority of kids nowadays are being raised to be factory workers, right? Most kids now are being raised to be warehouse workers, factory workers, if left alone. That's what's going to happen, because they're not learned. I mean, again, you're going to have families that are going to put their kids in something, or they have a family lineage or something, or whatever, you shit like that. But for the most part, there's this weird facade, this weird delusion, this escapism that a lot of parents will do. They say, well, they got to choose for their own, let them go, and all that shit like that, which is bullshit. And every parent who says that knows it, right? Every parent who says that knows it. Because the same parent who says, oh, you got to let them go and do whatever they want, that same parent's not gonna let their kid go in the house and do whatever they want in that house. They gonna stop them, right? Yeah. Because why? Because the kid needs control. Or else he's gonna do some wrong shit, right? So for every parent who say, "Oh well, let him go," and say, every parent knows that's bullshit. Every parent knows that's bullshit. But the thing is, the parent because that a lot of times because that parent doesn't know what to do, and they don't want to say it, and they don't want to admit that they don't know what to do, right? August line, yeah, I agree. August line, yeah. Yeah, we don't teach kids the value of the trades. It's either go to college or work at Walmart. Well, yeah. Having just some dedication, some focus to one thing is what's important. That's the important part. But nowadays with the smartphones and just saying I can go to college, and then on top of that, kids are just looking into so much has changed also in the professional world. So many kids are just looking into what's going to make them the most money, especially if they're left alone. They're just looking at what's going to make the most money. I'm just going to go do that. I'm going to become a computer science major. You know how many times when I was in college, like motherfuckers would always say that shit, and it'd be tons of them that flunked out computer science. I'm gonna be a computer science major. Now some people do go out and do it. Some people do seriously go do it, but a lot of them don't make it because they did that shit of oh I'll just Google what makes more money, blah 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 blah. And a lot of people just don't make the cut because they didn't. Okay. The other big issue that comes with that is since kids are being left alone on the whole parents bullshit. Oh, just let them go. That it's their life. They got to figure it out. Bullshit. Which again, the parent knows it's bullshit when they said it, but nobody's gonna approach them on it, so they get away with it. When a kid hits 18, 19, 20, now they want to become a computer science major. This motherfucker ain't touched a damn word of code his entire life. Right? He ain't know. This motherfucker hasn't programmed a microwave. Right? And well, I don't know how hard it be to program a microwave, but you see, this motherfucker it hasn't programmed a basic. I mean, a basic touch toy, some shit you just push and the motherfucker says some shit, right? He don't even know how to program it, but he wants to be a computer science major. And within fucking a month, he think he's gonna go into university and become a computer science and know what he's doing with no awareness or training on it before, right? Now I did that with biotech, right? Because I fit that demographic of just being left alone. Oh, you just figured out your own bullshit. It's bullshit, right? Now I did do it. I did biotech like that because I had no idea what biotech was when I went in there, and I ended up graduating with it. But you cannot expect that out of most people. Most people are gonna go in there, they're gonna realize I don't know what the fuck I'm doing and run away, right? Because their ego, again, human ego is gonna take that hit. But yeah, most people, and I think it's only gonna get worse as the class keeps separating. Most people they need to be slaves. They don't need to be alone and thinking on their own. They don't need it. Now there's one argument of on one end on one end of it, certain knowledge is going to be withheld from people. So people just won't. So let's say like, if the average Joe were to go out there and get and earn a bunch of money, like he's not going to know what to do with it versus somebody who came up and grew up in a family who's done that for generations, right? That family who like what most of Europe is. These are generations, right? In Europe, the rich families are usually generations and generations and generations of families who made beer breweries fucking 200 years ago type shit. You know what I mean? Invested in that shit, and they grew up with that, like, and they was like that, and they family was they had friends with attorneys, and those attorneys and they kids became the new kids attorneys, and that's that family generation money where they knew what to do. Whereas like you have so many people coming out now, especially in the U.S., because the U.S. is more of a land of opportunity in relation to Europe. You have so many people in the U.S. who are coming out. Yeah, they can work their ass off and grow, but it's a lot of times they're gonna lose it all. They're gonna lose it all in some kind of way, or either they just didn't know where else to go and fucked up, or there's gonna be fucking just sharks in the water. Once they hear you got money, they come out. Like with the basketball players. Once basketball players, once it's known them sports stars get money, oh, people come out the woodwork for them to take all that money from them. Right. So and in the end they end up just just another 9 to 5. Right. I think and at this rate I think it's just going to get worse. Programming is pretty simple since most of the existing code is already written. As long as you can read it and understand the function of the code, you can pass. Yeah. But when you're like 18 and you don't know shit, it ain't that easy. I think I did take one computer coding course. I just genuinely just don't like it. I've tried it. I just don't like coding. But yeah. Because we had to do, well, that's not technically coding, but yeah. I'm trying to think of that one course. I can't even remember what we did in bioinformatics. It's been so long. But I remember bioinformatics being a bit more it was a bit more strict and documented. But I honestly don't even remember what I even did when I took that bioinformatics course. Because I didn't even know bioinformatics was his own degree. To this girl, she went to Wright State and did it. You will own nothing and be happy. World economic. So yeah, that saying you will own nothing and be happy. Yeah. But in that regard, man, okay, well, I just kind of thought about something else. Because I was thinking about like the state of like men, especially in America. But the thing is, it's the same situation everywhere you go. Unless it's overall going to be the same theory everywhere you go. Is that there's going to be more available men than there are going to be women, right? It's just going to happen like that, right? So, and honestly, I feel sorry for women in this regard. One, because because I feel sorry for women in this regard, especially like Western women. I feel sorry for them because they genuinely think that they're in control of something, right? Because they're in control of their pussy at this moment, right? So the reason why I feel sorry for especially American women and where this is headed is because I feel sorry for American women because one, women just do not have good foresight. They don't have good seeking and seeing into the future, right? In terms outside of if she's going to be cute, shit like that, right? She doesn't think in terms of the reality of her kids and her kids. Like not very many of them. In reality, they don't, and that's why I feel sorry for women and where this is headed. Because women are animals, right? And I never hesitate to say this. I told my girl this. I told my dad this. Women are animals, right? And that book actually goes into it. The difference between man and animals is that man genuinely thinks and plans for the future and the future and the future, whereas animals continuously just live in the present. Like they're not thinking 4, 6, 8 a year from now, 2 years from now, 40 years. They're not thinking like that. There's no confirmed evidence that animals can think like that, right? And in this book, so this is a quick recap of this book. But it's an older book, but the same logic still holds up. He elaborates on how the universal use of currency started that thought in man to think ahead and think ahead and ahead and think ahead and ahead because then he starts to compare cultures of people who didn't take on currency until recently. I think that book was written like in the 70s, but he looks at like cultures of people who didn't take on currency versus cultures who grew up with currency and did it. So what currency did, because I started thinking about this on the train while I was reading the book. So my theory on his elaboration on that is, well, before currency was a big thing, before it was like everybody accepted currency, right? Before we just accepted currency, everything was done pretty much on labor and maybe like a little bit of gold, some shit, but it was pretty much labor. Like you went down and you traded apples for some leather, and if you had too much leather, well, you traded leather for some eggs. It was all just labor. You were essentially, or you were just a slave. You just work off whatever you owed, type of shit, and you get some food in the meantime. But it was just that there wasn't a whole lot of being able to uh you didn't have a way of storing your labor and time, right? So if I were to go pick, let's say like 50 apples, and I brought them to you, it's like, hey, I got these 50 apples. I need 30 eggs and a gallon of milk for these apples because these are rare apples, right? And we do that. Well, them apples, all that shit's gonna spoil soon. So that currency didn't last long, right? They didn't have refrigerators and freezers back then, so you couldn't store the eggs somewhere and save them for a while, right? So when currency came along, you could just go down there and be like, yo, well, okay, well, it took a while for currency to get accepted, but in theory, currency went, okay, well, here's $5 that can buy the equivalent of that. So you could take that $5 and actually put it somewhere and keep it, and then theoretically walk back, 6 months later, and it's still $5, and you can take that $5 and go buy something else. So that triggered a society of people to think for the future, and to think for the future of the future, and to think for the future of the future of the future, to like, well, what am I gonna do, when I gotta retire, when I get too old to pick apples, right? What am I gonna do? Well, I could just take $2 and put it in this, hide it somewhere, and I could come back, theoretically speaking, I could not counting inflation and all that. I could come back in 20, 30, 40 years, and that $2 is still there, so I could add it up and stack it. And then that's, of course, when investments took off, and I think it is essentially the brutal form of stock market started in Britain, if I'm not mistaken. Insurance took off, all that shit like that took off, but that triggered the thought that separated man from animal, was that ability to think in the future, right? And not just relatively the immediate future, but think like weeks and months and years into the future. The use of currency really triggered that, right? And I really gave it some thought. He didn't go into that part of it, but I just elaborate thinking about it. But okay, even with that being said, like women are animals, right? Women are the animal. Women do not think for the future. It's all about their emotions and right now. So like, and this is why I say women do, like, they're like essentially a 4-year-old child mixed with a German Shepherd. Like their brains are literally wired like an animal. It's all about their emotion and what's right now, and they don't care about next week, next month. Are my emotions being fed now, and that's it. Like an animal, like a cheetah, like an orangutan. It's right now. Maybe a week, some shit like that. Now, men have to go out there and think and think and think and think and think. This is why man is at the top of the totem pole. That's why men are at the top of the food chain, because of that preparatory thinking, right? Now, the reason why I feel sorry for women is because of that mental deficiency that they biologically have, right? So the reason I feel sorry for women is because they're feeding into their emotions right now, following other women who are saying shit that other women are saying. And the only reason women are allowed to do it is because they're a woman, and men just want pussy, right? We can all agree on that. Men are just going to want pussy, right? After that, we have not very much more use for women. Maybe keeping a house clean, some shit like that. But even then, we really don't care. We're just to have company, right? That for her just to sit there, be woman, and we can have sex with it. That's the majority of use that we have for women. We've always had for women, right? And that's not to say I hate women. That's just the reality of human history, right? Now, the reason I feel sorry for women, I keep saying that, but the reason I feel sorry for them is because in the U.S., they're beating men up too hard. And in the U.K., they're beating men too bad. It's grown to a level where women genuinely think they're in control of something. And on top of that, they're withholding biological needs that men have, which is to want to have sex, right? So when they're doing this, the woman is now creating higher and higher standards for men, right? Which is statistically just a fallacy, right? Because there's only going to be a small portion of men who's ever going to fit these requirements that these young pretty girls are going to want, right? So what I see happening is, historically speaking, this is what happens. If you keep pushing men and if you keep beating men up and you keep pushing them down, they're going to finally say, fuck this shit, we're just taking it. By any means necessary, whatever it is. That's what Napoleon faced when he tried to enslave, when he had those slaves, the sugar slaves, I think was it in Haiti, and they rose up and revolted against him, and they killed him. They beat the shit out of Napoleon's. I think it was Haiti. They beat the shit out of that down there because they figured out how to. Because they just kept beating them and pushing them down. If you, historically speaking, if you keep pushing and beating down men, they are gonna, at some point, they're gonna eventually rise up and be like, "Fuck this shit, we're taking it because this ain't right." Right? Now, historically speaking, when women get pushed down and beat down, they don't do that. Historically speaking, if you keep beating up and pushing down a woman will just become subservient and eternally just find out how she can mold herself around it. She does see historically speaking, women have not historically, look throughout history, have never collectively come together and physically go out there in the world and die for something. They'll just let you come take it. And they'll suck your dick and just have mixed children from now on. That's what the British was. I think it's like 70% of all British have like Dutch ancestry or something like that. Because that's what they was. They would just come out there and just beat them up and fuck they bitches and leave. So I want to say it's like 70% of all UK or British or something like that. 70% of all the people there have DNA that stems back to the Dutch. Because I want to say it was the Dutch. Because of that, they would go over there and just have to see. If you keep beating down women, they'll talk shit at first, but they'll just become subservient. They'll fall into their role and they'll just mold themselves around it. So what I see happen is, it may not happen in my lifetime, but at this rate, especially in North America, what's going to happen is men, they're finally going to get upset and be like, fuck it. We just going to start beating y'all up and taking what we want. Right? At some point. And in all honesty, I think that would be the best because the other alternative would be men could just start turning gay and just start fucking other men and just be like, fuck it. But then that's going to take down the power. Okay, that would be worse, in my opinion. Because, okay, in the reality of keeping a nation moving, that's going to be the worst. The better option would be the more brutal option, right? Because you need population growth. So, yeah, historically speaking, if you keep beating down men, if you just keep beating them down, they not good enough, they this and that. For a while, they might get down about like, yeah, we ain't good enough, damn. But as sooner or later, like, it's nature. At some point, some of the men, they gonna finally stand up like, no, fuck this shit. I'm not even playing your game. I'm gonna do what I want to do. Like them slaves. At some point, they gonna be like, yeah, fuck this shit. I'm not playing that game. What you mean I got to work for 40 years to get my freedom? Fuck you. I'm just going to take that shotgun and I'm going to kill you. And I'm going to have my freedom. Fuck, even if it means I got to die. Fuck you. See, women don't do that. Historically, women have never done that. You might have one here or there, but they don't do that. And see, that's why I feel sorry. Because women, they're not going to see that coming. And that's why I feel sorry for women. Because they build themselves up for that. In reality, like I said, I think that's the better way in terms of keeping a nation going. I think that's the best way to get out of it. I thought Donald Trump would have been a good. I thought Trump had a good chance of segueing that, of getting that, that out of men to be more dominant and shit like that. But it didn't work on a nation standpoint. But I thought he was pretty much the nation's last hope. But at this rate, yeah, like I feel sorry for women because they're setting up their daughters and granddaughters to get beat up and raped. At this rate, because again, the more money, the more you let them go, they're gonna dress up to try to look prettier, and they're gonna try to demand. You see the video of that woman, the guy took her to the Cheesecake Factory and she didn't want to get out the car? Some silly shit like that. See, like, again, because women are animals. But the fucked up part is, see, right now, men are following the man should be walking the dog, right? But that dog should know how far it should go on that leash. But see, what happened in the contrast to men and women is the dog is now walking the man. The man's not walking the dog anymore, right? And once the dog is walking the man's gonna die. He's gonna starve because the dog ain't gonna go out there and find no. Okay, the dog does not go out there and find food for you. You go out there and find food for the dog, right? Very similar to how women are to men, contrary to what women want you to think, right? Because women don't build countries. They don't make slaughterhouses. They don't build electronics. They don't do anything. They sit around and wait for men to build it. Then they want to go up there and work underneath them, right? See, the man is supposed to walk the dog. The dog does not walk the man. If you let that dog walk you, oh, y'all doomed. Well, not okay. You gonna be doomed because the dog will just go off and find somebody else to take care of it, like a woman. Right? Like a woman. Because that dog wants, like a woman, they want their needs met right now. They're not thinking in the future. Right? But yeah, again, I think that the women now are setting their either themselves, their daughters, or their granddaughters. They're set at some point, men are gonna be like, fuck, okay. I think the best thing for the country would be the most brutal option. On a cold, calculated, nation-keeping perspective, I think the brutal option, that would be the best option. And I think it's a possibility, is that men will finally say, fuck it. And the cultural norm will be to go out to clubs and just start grabbing women's asses, grab them by their tits, grab them by their car, grab them by the hand and make them walk. And motherfuckers will be live streaming how they grabbed the bitch from the club. They just walked in there and took her and walked her home because she's scared the guy might beat her up and shit. I think that's where it's going to be headed. Again, it may not happen this year. It may not happen in the next 5 years. But that's where this is where it's headed. Because women are beating men up too bad. And men just, they have no way to fight against it. Especially, unless if they can't leave the country, they have no way to fight it. So they're just struggling. They're alone. They're sad. They're depressed. Then now they got to get on medication to deal with their depression because they just want a partner. All they want is somebody just to talk to. But then the woman's standards, he has to make $200,000 a year, and shit that a very small percentage of men actually have. Right? The men in the U.S. they're being beat up too much. They're just getting beat down. Right? Like in the book, The Art of War. Right? In the book, The Art of War, he said, look, like you always, if you go to war with another army, like you have to make sure to let that army think that they have a way to run, they have a way to escape. Right? Like a dog, right? If you go to war with another army, let's say your army goes to war with another army, right? And you're fighting, and let's say you're winning, and victory is clear, right? Not like completely clear, but let's say like both of y'all started with 100 men, they got about 40 left, and you got about 70, right? So y'all winning, right? In The Art of War, he said, no, at that point, make sure that your enemy knows they can get away, right? Because what's gonna happen is if that enemy feels trapped, like it can't get out, that motherfucker will level up like crazy because they feel trapped. Now they have to do something, and at that moment, once that enemy feels trapped, they don't care about their life anymore. They just became stronger than you. Because you still care about your life, right? Because you was winning. And so you didn't have to dive that deep into your thoughts and philosophy and feelings and all that because you was winning, right? But see, when they was losing, the other side, they losing. And on top of that, now they're trapped with their back against the wall. See, what's gonna happen is when they back ends up against the wall and they don't have a way out. See, that survival instinct's gonna kick in much faster in them than it is in you. Right? and they not gonna care about their life. They not gonna care about consequences. They not gonna care about getting stabbed in their stomach because they heard it hurts real bad. They ain't gonna care about that. It's gone, and they gonna get stronger than you, and they gonna beat. And there's a good chance they gonna beat the shit out of you because they grew stronger in that moment of feeling trapped. You have to make that other army feel like they have a way to escape. Because as long as they feel like they can run, now they can focus on the thought of, oh, I still have my life. I could run and live for another day. They'll focus on that, right? But once they don't have that to focus on anymore, and now it's like I'm just here, and that's it. They're gonna outgrow you. Right? Now, it may not happen to every single man, but it's a fair amount of them they'll philosophically grow real fast, real fast, right? Like, maybe that was a horrible explanation. Let's say, like, if I'm fighting whoever, let's say you watch, like, let's say if I'm fighting you, right? And like, let's say this time I'm just winning, right? And I got you backed up against the wall, and I'm just pounding you, and there's just no way you can see it, and I'm just like wailing on, and you're like completely trapped. See, now I know this, but at this moment, like that's when you can fuck around and become the strongest you ever been in your life because you don't see a way out, right? If you're convinced that there's no way out, that's when all those social norms, social standards go out the window. And you gonna fuck around and kill me at that point. It's nature. It's at this, the earth standpoint. It's nature, right? And that's what I feel sorry. Because women, they ain't reading no books like that. They ain't pay attention to any type of philosophy, none of that. Right? And so women, they ain't gonna see that shit coming. I'm calling it right now. That's what's gonna happen. They backing men up against the wall. They gonna get tired of them. They gonna get tired of being drugged their whole life. They gonna get tired of putting on tranquilizers and antidepressants so they can sleep, and you know what I mean? They gonna at some point they gonna eventually grow and take what they biologically need. Right? Again, it may not happen in the next year, 5 years, 10 years. But they're going to start getting more violent, and they're going to start getting more violent, and they're going to start lashing out more. They're going to get more violent, right? Even with monkeys, dude. Even with monkeys, okay, because monkeys, they don't have the social norms we have. But with monkeys, I forget the specific breed of monkey, but this monkey will do it. Let's say like a mother monkey is raising its son. If the son starts getting too wild, the mother monkey would just let the son have sex with her so he'll calm down, right? Like it's which is fucked up to say, but and I'm not saying you should fuck your mother, but what I'm trying to say is that sexual frustration, like that's the only way women can calm a man down. Like once it gets like to that level of just like being that rambunctious, that's the only thing that's gonna calm men down. Right? Is that sexual validation in some kind of way. Now, again, monkeys, they don't have social norms like we have and all that, so they're not operating on laws like we do. They have their own laws, but it's not like our laws. But you keep beating men up sexually, like that shit is not, and at this rate, it's just going to get worse. Especially, see, OnlyFans and all that shit, it's got women so deluded. It's got them horrible. Women actually think they're in control of something. Now, I'm going to say this, like, I don't advocate rape. I don't advocate violence, right? Unless it's called for. Unless it's called for, or I see it coming based off the actions that's going on, between two parties. But I'm not saying I don't advocate it. I can understand it. That's what I should say. That's what I will say. I don't advocate it, but I can understand it. And at this rate, women are setting themselves up to get beat up and raped. Like I'm just plain and simple, right? They're setting themselves up for it in North America. Because again, the dynamic of available men to available women, it's always going to be off. For the most part, it's always going to be off. For the most part, in any country you go, it's always going to be that. The higher earners are always going to are usually going to have more access to women in some kind of way. But the poorer men are always going to be the most fucked up, unless they're like, criminals and thugs type of shit. If they're like just a good dude working at Walmart, like he's at the unless he's got a certain swagger about him, he's at the lowest of the low in men, right? And it's the same equivalent anywhere you go, right? Everywhere you go on, every country you go on earth is going to be the same thing, but it doesn't change biologically. It doesn't change. Women don't change, right? Men will change for women, but women don't change. Chris Apple, I've been saying this and it's sad, but if we keep going that way, it will become violent and it's not going to be pretty and the economy is bad. Yeah, yeah. See, right now, women are getting away with it because they know, because right now, men are just in the whole, oh, I'm trying to play your game, but it's not working. I guess I'll try harder. I guess I'll do this. You know, they're trying to do it, but at some point, they're going to get tired of it. Again, and like I said, historically speaking, that men will get tired of it and they'll just go to war with you. And whatever it was they was after, they gonna take it. If it was their freedom, if it was that car, if it was whatever. Right? If you go in there, let's say if it's kids, right? Kids to adults. See, boys will do it. Boys will grow. They'll go in that room and break that Xbox because you ain't never let them play it. But you want to keep playing it. He'll go in there and break that motherfucker. So ain't nobody playing it. Well, some women will here and there, but for the most part, like, see, out in that world where physical strength plays a part in it, women don't do that. If you keep pushing women, women will just go, okay, and they'll sit down and wait for the victor's cock to suck, and she'll just run off in that, and then just play like, if at best she'll play like she was a victim in it. But that's what women historically have done. Women do not collect together and build their own armies. They don't go off and fight entire wars. They don't do it. Historically, this has never happened. There's been very few, at this point, it was already lost anyway. But there's been very few occurrences where they would band together. But at this point, the men have already abandoned them or died or something like that. And there was just literally no other option. And even then, it doesn't happen very often on top of it. It doesn't happen. It's not a common occurrence. Right? But yeah. Hey, do you have any advice on dealing with women nowadays? I'm in Dallas, Texas. Oh, get out of the U.S. Unless you get lucky and find just like a decent acting woman, get out of the U.S. I couldn't recommend a man to deal with a Western woman. I just couldn't do it. Unless you get lucky and find a decent one, which can happen. I just wouldn't. I've been meaning to tell my girl like, because I would have dumped her a long time ago. I just can't deal I just can't deal too much with just dealing with women anymore. Like, especially at my age. Now, I was thinking about this, man, because when I went to the library, this little girl, she was like, clearly like eyeball the girl who checked my book out. It's like clearly eyeballing me, man. Like, and it's just at a point like, I just don't. The only reason I deal with her, well, now because we have a baby, but two, is because she does have a certain sense of like motherly to her, in the sense of caring about like cooking and cleaning and shit like that. But if it wasn't for that, like I just can't deal with all the other side shit that just a woman is. Like on a daily basis type of shit, I just prefer to be alone. Like if it wasn't for that, like I would have dumped her a long time. Well, on top of having a kid, and she just had like a certain like motherly awareness to like of cooking, cleaning, iron and shit like that. Like if it wasn't for that, that would have run its course a long time ago. Me and Kratos' mom would have run its course a long time ago. But yeah, keeping a woman around just because she's pretty, yeah. That okay for guys who've been down that road. Prettiness wears off. Prettiness wears off, right? Even if you like having sex with her, that wears off. In my opinion, the reality of it is sex wears off faster when you count the actual, time having sex. Sex runs its course a lot quicker. What's up, MG Verde? MG Verde? That video said the audacity of not eating at Cheesecake Factory. Yo, Chris Albert, here's the crazy part. Like, she looks like a woman who belongs in a Cheesecake Factory. Like, I mean, like, she looks like a woman who belongs in a Cheesecake Factory. You know what I mean? Like the like you said, the audacity of a woman of her quality, of her physical quality, off the bat. Now, I could expect hearing something like that from something like one of them Dua Lipa looking bitches, but like that whole the cheesecake, like she looks like a woman who needs to be in cheesecake. Like she looks like a woman who would go to the Cheesecake Factory on her birthday. Burfday. She looks like a woman who needs to be in a cheese. Like she looks like a woman who would like. I don't think. Okay, she looks like a woman who would be happy to go to the Cheesecake Factory. And to be fair, like I like. Okay, I used to like the Cheesecake Factory. I think they have good calamari. I think even now, out of all the calamari I've ever had, fried calamari I've ever had, Cheesecake Factory and the Spaghetti Warehouse. You wouldn't think it. I think the Spaghetti Warehouse or Spaghetti Factory. I can't remember which one it is, but it was in Dayton, Ohio. Actually, let me pull it up. Let me see if I can find it. They had great calamari, great fried calamari. Let me see. Where am I at? I don't even know if they're still there. It probably won't be where I used to go to school in Dayton, Ohio. Let's look it up. Spaghetti. I think it was Warehouse. Oh, there it is, Fifth Street. Yeah, it was on Fifth Street. Yeah, this is it. They had the best calamari to this day at every place I've traveled. The two things. Yeah, there it is, right there. Ooh, I ain't been. What is this? 2021. Yeah, this has changed a lot. But yeah, Spaghetti Warehouse, not Spaghetti Factory. Spaghetti Warehouse, great calamari. To this day, everywhere I go, if a restaurant has calamari or ribs, I always have to get either. I have to get it. I always have to try theirs. And to this day, their fried calamari is still the best. I had some calamari in this Italian restaurant here in Prague. Theirs is close. But their Spaghetti Warehouse, still the best. Still the best fried calamari. But yeah, well, let's look at the car. I don't see anything wrong with Cheesecake Factory. I thought, okay, I really like the Cheesecake Factory. Now the reason why I kind of hesitated on it was because the last time I went in Dayton, Ohio, it was like filled with gnats, and they made an excuse saying how something like they didn't do something right, so it was a bunch of gnats in it. But yeah, I ate Cheesecake Factory because I remember one time I went with a girl, and she got the filet mignon. And it was not filet mignon because I've had real filet mignon. That was like shit, chuck beef, cut in a circle shape. But she thought it was filet mignon. Like she paid for it. It was like $35, something like that. And they lied to her. That was not filet mignon. For anybody who's had filet mignon, you know filet mignon as soon as they cut into it or you bite it. Right? As soon as I seen that shit, I was like, that is not filet mignon. I didn't tell her, but I knew that was not filet mignon. That shit was basic chuck beef. But bitches, they don't know shit, man. They don't know. Most women don't know anything. But yeah, she looks like a woman who would go to the Cheesecake Factory on her birthday and bring balloons in with her. She does not look like. And look at him. Like, bitch, is you serious? Like, this is an upgrade for a U quality, bitch. But she's got this inflated ego from fucking just for what women have nowadays. This is gross. She looks like a woman who needs to go to Cheesecake Factory. Like, look at her. Like, She thinks she probably thinks she's something special because she got the micros put in. them oh, that's not pleats. What do you call those pleats? But she got those micros, and so she thinks she's cute because she got her micros and her shitty fucking what do you call this? What's that store? Classy's makeup. Cassie's, what's that shit? I can't think. Claire's makeup. They should look like Claire's makeup. That shit don't even look good. She's like a fucking honey bun, like a honey bun with micros. And she tried to talk shit about going to the fucking cheesecake. Like, that is a step up for you. Okay, I wouldn't. Hold on. Let's look at the Cheesecake Factory's menu. Because I'm going to bet you. I already know. I would not spend. And it's like, oh, okay. Like, I tell you this. I would not spend. She's not. Okay, right off the bat. She is not, this woman is not even Cheesecake Factory money. This woman is like, let's go hang out at a family-owned coffee shop money first to see what you're talking about. Right? And to be honest with you, okay, Cheesecake Factory is down the road. It should, let's clear something. Yeah. Cheesecake Factory really is, that's a restaurant that's down the road. Or like another one, what was it, Papados? That's another one people are like really crazy about in North America right now. Papados. These motherfuckers are crazy. Fried calamari. Where's the prices? That's a bad sign. They ain't put prices up. Start an order. Our fine print. Why you got? Yeah, that looks like filet mignon. So remember, I just told you guys how to girl. Her name was Sarah. we went to Cheesecake Factory at the Green. I'll show you guys the Green in a minute. Yeah, she got the filet mignon. Is this supposed to be filet mignon? That looks like it. That looks more like it than what that girl had. That Sarah had. Let's do start an order. See how much this shit costs. Let's just do Dayton, Ohio. Let's do, okay, order pickup. Let's just see how much, because I already know that woman is not Cheesecake Factory money. Well, for America, okay, all this fried shit isn't bad. It's like $10. That's not bad for Dayton, Ohio. Well, it's not bad in general for America. Yeah, this is, yeah, because it was, yeah, I remember, so this is filet mignon, because it's about $35. That's how much she paid for it. That's what they put in their menu as. So it's probably not even filet mignon, because they're not actually saying filet mignon anywhere on the website, because they get in trouble for that. But when we went there, the menu said filet mignon. Yeah, that's not even filet mignon, because if this was filet mignon, they would have said it. Yeah, it's not filet mignon. That is, maybe it is. I don't know, but they would say it. I highly, when Sarah bought that shit was not filet mignon at all. It wasn't even close. So yeah, but even with all that said, a place like the Cheesecake Factory, let's do this. Oh, wait, no. I want to go to Google Maps. So I'll show you exactly where we went. Yeah. This is where I used to. This is this outdoor mall in Dayton, Ohio. It's a nice place. Yeah, that's it. You would think Dayton's nice if you see this, but this is just this area that looks like, pretty decent. Because there was this bookstore. It used to be right here. Yeah, there it is, Books and Company. Yeah, so that's where we went. We sat like There's a place you could sit like back here, and that's where we ate it. And yeah, like a woman looking like that, like that is an upgrade. That's she looks like a woman who needs to be in the Cheesecake Factory. Her and that. Okay, she looks like the type of woman who works in a call center or some shit like that. And like and when she goes to work, she brags about going to Cheesecake Factory, drinking, some drinking happy hour or some shit like that. She looks like that quality of woman, right? Like there's nothing about her that says she deserves anything higher than that at all. Yeah, she fits this. There was this sushi spot I used to go to. Let's see if it's still over here. It was across the street. Yeah. Let me see if it's still there. I'm curious now. It was over here. I used to go over here because and it's nowhere near as nice. Oh, are they gone? What was this? 2020? Yeah, they gone. Oh no, it's not. This is it right here. Sake. That's the sushi. I used to go there to get sushi. And they did good jobs in there. I thought they did a good job. It was still more Americanized sushi. It wasn't like sushi, but it was good. I used to go there. I was looking for the off chance my car might be parked out here. No, it's 2023. It's not gonna be out here. Why did I go back to the US? Did I go back? For the off chance my car might be parked over there? No, it ain't over there. But yeah. She looks like she need to go. She looks like that. She looks like the type of woman who walk around the office trying to wear heels and and she walks around because she wants you to see her wearing the heels and go, yes, girl, I drink. Some guy hit on me at the bar in Cheesecake Factory. Yes, girl. She looked like one of them type of bitches. And now homie got to deal with that. Homie's looking at her like, first off, like the disrespect of holding out your phone like that while you supposed to be with somebody, right? That's just disgusting. Like that's just disgusting right there. Holding out your phone while you in a car, being driven to go to be taken out to eat, like that's just fucking gross, right? Like this woman's garbage. She's garbage. He got you at the Cheesecake Factory. Yeah, you look like the woman states he got me at the Cheesecake Factory. She locks the door, shakes her head, and waggles her finger. She locked it. She locked the door in his car. I don't think I seen the whole. I just kind of seen it in passing. Where's the video up here? How's she gonna lock the door in his car?
You wouldn't put your hand around my arm or anything like that, or hold my hand or anything like that?
I mean, it's too early for that.
Okay.
I don't know you.
I can respect that. I can respect that.
Okay.
When I got to your apartment to pick you up, you didn't want to invite me in. I can respect that too. We're not
Again, I don't know
there
yet.
Okay. And then, but
I mean, I feel like I'm doing everything I'm supposed to do as a woman.
But
I got myself all made up.
There's nothing wrong with the Cheesecake Factory, right?
Yeah, nothing wrong
Yes,
with that.
there's a lot wrong with the Cheesecake Factory.
Okay, well look at my plan where we were gonna go originally.
See, now that's where we should have went. All right there. Call him.
No.
What do you mean no?
See, I specifically told you both yesterday and this morning that I'd come to pick you up at 4 p.m. Right? And I got to your place at 4 p.m. You didn't even come downstairs for another hour, and so I was waiting downstairs
I understand.
for an hour. Right?
But I wasn't expecting for work to take me so long. I got home a little late. And like I said, I don't know you well enough to invite you up into my apartment.
And
that is not possible.
And that's why I'm thinking, okay, if we're not there in a relationship to, at your apartment, then maybe we're not ready in a relationship for such a nice, fancy restaurant as Aria.
Yeah.
Especially if I'm paying for the whole thing.
Yeah, he's right.
Which I'm still willing to do. I would have been. But if we're late, I mean, I told you twice.
It wasn't that late.
We literally left your place at the time the reservation was supposed to be. And I specifically said 4 because maybe we could get there early and even have some time to get to know each other on the way there and while we're in the parking lot.
I mean,
I'm waiting for a reservation.
We can still get to know each other. Isn't there another restaurant you can call that, like, you know, equivalent to that? I mean,
I literally
you don't understand.
She's salty because she got demoted. Okay, she's salty because she got demoted to Cheesecake Factory from the place that the more expensive place. She's salty because of that.
Look at me. I cannot go in the Cheesecake Factory.
There's nothing.
I will die. That's embarrassing.
Listen, as I said, I have very specific certain expectations for dinner.
No.
I can tell it's not gonna be there. And maybe we're not right for each other. So respectfully, I'm gonna just drop you off at home.
Oh, no,
You ain't gotta drop her off. Why you gotta drop her off? Well, that ain't your responsibility. That's
Yeah. I'm up.
So
you don't even look. Just tell her to get out. Why you even have to drop her off? That's not your. Look, she's strong. She independent. She got so much money to where it's embarrassing to go to the Cheesecake Factory. She can call her own Uber. Why you don't look. She should have been happy. She should have been happy you was willing to drop her off at home. Because I wouldn't have done that.
Call it a night? I mean, isn't there some kind of compromise or something? Ladies, can you believe this?
I'm sorry.
That woman's garbage.
She's
garbage.
If I don't feel respected, I
I mean,
not gonna go through with the rest of the day.
This woman's garbage.
Well, I mean, you were serious. You really mean it.
I mean, you didn't want this place anyway, right?
I mean, I understand that I was late. I understand that. I understand that I could have been a
Look
bit
at them
more
eyebrows. That
cooperative.
shit.
You made some good points. That's why I'm willing to compromise. Are you sure you want to go home?
I don't have a lot of rules. I don't have a lot of expectations for a first date, but I've already set them, and you've broken every one.
Oh
So
my God.
I'm sorry. We're dropping you off home.
All
This woman
right,
is garbage.
whatever. Well, I mean, I guess I understand. You gotta do what you gotta do.
They said that she locked the door. That woman's garbage. What's her name? Monique Santos. She's trash. This is trash. But that's what American men got to deal with. Because American men, because they probably met on some online site or some shit like that. Guys go fucking weeks and months without getting a match. So it's like by the time they get a match, men are willing to put up with so much more just idiotic shit. Especially in the US, because you're not walking around, you're not seeing people like that. Like here in Prague, like you're not in a social setting like where I live. So it's like I get it, man. Like it's harder there for sure. This woman is the definition of garbage. Like, yo, I go to the Cheesecake Factory. Take me to the Cheesecake Factory. I go. I don't have a problem with it. Now I bet you I'm doing bigger shit in life than she's doing. But that's how it always is. I mean, it's always the motherfuckers who ain't doing shit. It's the motherfuckers who ain't shit who try to walk around with this facade that they are shit. It's always those. Those are always the people who a lot of times who are like that, man. It's always those people who are like that. It's the people who ain't shit who's trying to walk around like they are shit. Fucking fakers, dude. Like a fuck. This is the definition of trash. He didn't have to take you home, right? Don't matter if you was at Cheesecake Factory or you was in the middle of the fucking woods somewhere. You drove. That's his car. You trying to act all funny about it, like you ain't in control. No, that's not your car, right? And it's not a law to leave you out there as long as you have a way to, that it would be a law if he kept you in the car. But as long as he kicked you out of his car, you ain't got to be in his car. Ain't no law saying you have to be in that motherfucker, right? She should be lucky. She should be happy he didn't just kick her out the car. But yeah, that's complete garbage. But again, that's what American men have to deal with. See, and at this point, see, like I said, woman is an animal. She doesn't think ahead in the future. She only thinks for her emotions right now, just like an animal or an insect. Men have to think ahead, right? And they have to adjust accordingly, thinking ahead in terms of their own survival, right? Now, the difference between woman and animal is that okay, animals and insects still have to survive on their own, whereas see, as a woman, she doesn't have to survive because there's always going to be three other thirsty guys who will just give her what she wants because they're just desperate, right? So, but even with that being said, still historically, before the times got to be like that, there was still never any history of women actually planning for the future and ensuring their own survival without using sex to get by, right? Like this is why I say like woman is an animal, man. Like men are human, but women. They're literally they're not even a half step above being an animal. But yeah, man. Now he did the right thing. Okay, he did the right thing. He did the right thing. He did the right thing. That woman is garbage. The guy's too good for. Yeah, John, and yeah, I agree. But that's how it's gonna. Okay, yeah, I agree with you, Jen. The guy's too good for her. And then that's how that's how it usually has to work. The guy's always going to be better than the woman. That's the only reason why she's fucking with him, because he's better than her. Well, I would say, but most men on Earth are just better than women. When you talk about in terms of survival and biology, men will just be better than women, right? Like, but I agree with you. I totally agree with you. Yeah, he's too good for sure. Yeah. The only thing that's keeping her in any type of standing is that she's not morbidly obese. That's the only thing that's keeping her anywhere near being desired for any reason on earth by another human, is that she's not morbidly obese. That's literally it. If you had added 20, 30 more pounds to her shoulders, well, in America, she still might have that. In America, she might still be, they've got so crazy there. She might still think she's worth that much. Yeah. AD, if he asked her to get out of the car, she wouldn't leave. She's at that type of, yeah. She would have probably threw a little fit and all that, yeah, and try to get him in trouble with the cops or something. I had it on a live stream. He abused me, and yeah, she would spin all that. Yeah, man, yeah, that's rough. And he got look like he had a nice car. He cared. He's trying to talk to her, trying to manage shit, trying to work through it, to try to still salvage it, and she's just being a fucking cunt. Like, she's just a cunt. She's a piece of trash, right? She's only good for prostitution purposes. Now, if you got this much problems with her starting out, could you imagine what she's gonna be like if you actually had to sit with this bitch? Like, she's fucking garbage, dude. Like, okay, if you were to get a car, and if you was go buy a car at a car lot, and as soon as you get that motherfucker, it ain't starting up right because you didn't push the button right, and all this shit. Now you can't even get this motherfucker started. Like, you be like, no, I'm cool. I don't even want that car. I can't, because it's starting out with problems. I done drove to the car lot to come buy you, and you still causing all these problems. On top of that, he trying to work with it. Well, okay, maybe if I turn the key if I use the button like this and hold the key here and push it, okay, maybe that'll work. And the car's still going, well, you didn't release the parking brake because you had to release mine a little different than theirs. And you'd be like, man, fuck this shit. This is a piece of fucking garbage. I don't give a fuck if it's a 2039. It's a piece of trash. Because I can't, because it's being difficult. Right? That's what she is. And then she's just a her-looking woman. You mean she's just a her-looking woman? Like she ain't. No, you not where Cheesecake Factory is where you belong, and not too much higher than that. That's about where you belong. The Cheesecake Factory. You look like you belong in the Cheesecake Factory. Just because you got your little micros, you think you cute now. You belong, even with those micros, you belong in the Cheesecake Factory. That's right where you belong. Talking about the Cheesecake Factory is embarrassing. You embarrassing for thinking that you better than the Cheesecake Factory. You embarrass yourself. It'd be like a Honda Civic looking at a Toyota Corolla, be like, ugh, Toyota Corollas are so embarrassing. Bitch, you a Honda Civic. I mean, you still got the parts to be reliable if you act right, but you a Honda Civic. You a Toyota Camry. That's what I should have. So a Toyota Camry, right? It's like the Honda Civic looking at the Camrys. I'm like, ugh. I'm a higher class than a Toyota Camry. I'm a Civic. Hey, bitch, you a Civic. You are nothing special. Like I said, there ain't nothing wrong with a Honda Civic. I like Honda Civics. I always have liked Honda Civics. Nothing wrong with a Honda Civic, but it's a Honda Civic, right? And the Honda Civic came up and said, I need to be walking with Lamborghinis. Okay, yeah, check yourself, Honda. You are a Honda Civic. You are not a Lamborghini. You need to chill with that shit. Now, as long as you act right and your repair costs are that of a Honda Civic, we could be great friends. But you come in as a Honda Civic talking about a $500 oil change. Oh yeah, no, bro. You you embarrassing yourself with that. Because you are a Honda Civic. That's what she is. She's a Honda Civic talking about $400 for oil change. No, bro. No. You need one of them. At most, you worth about $100 oil change, and that's when them Jiffy Lube oil changes, because Jiffy Lube be ripping motherfuckers off. You want them Jiffy? That's like the worst case scenario. You really worth about a $60-$70 oil change at best, because you a Honda Civic. You use regular old this is a regular old woman. Use her regular old shit, and it has she just accepted it and been cool about it, then yeah, I would recommend her to anybody. Like, I know fat bitches who I would happily recommend to people I know, right? I know bitches who are not pretty, who are great people to hang out with. At least, for the time that I've been there. I know, like, I would never say anything, like, bad, like, directly about them, right? Because they know their position. They know where they are. They know their position in life, right? As a woman, right? Right? Because I remember I told one I was just gonna name my son Kratos, and she immediately loved it because she played video games and she knew God of War, and she loved it immediately, right? And she's not the most prettiest. She's not a skinny girl. She's cute, but she's not a beautiful woman, but I think she's great. Like, I would happily recommend her to somebody I know, to like a guy I know. I would know. I think she's a great person, right? But if she came in the room trying to talk about something, I need Lamborghini. I need Ferraris. I don't ride anything less than a Ferrari. I'm like, okay, like, unless you bought your own Ferrari, you can't talk shit about Ferraris, right? Like with this woman, unless she was if this woman was like, you know what, I just want to go to what would they say, Aria? I just want to go to Aria and I'll pay. Just go with me, blah 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 blah. Because I just don't like Cheesecake Factory because I just think Cheesecake Factory. I just don't like their food. I don't like the setting and all that. But I really want like whatever the expensive place was. And she goes, yeah, I just really want to go there and fuck it. I'll just pay my half. Or if you don't want to pay, then cool. I'll just pay for everything. I just want to go, right? I'll be like, okay, yeah, she'd be a great human for that. But trying to like sell your pussy, sell the potential of your worthless pussy to a man who was initially wanted to take you to the fancy restaurant, but then he came up with some fancy request for that fancy restaurant. You turned him down, so he demoted your ass to Honda Civic shit. And now you mad. You a piece of shit for that. She's a piece of shit for that. Cause she thinks she look cute with them with that Claire's makeup on. It looked like somebody who worked at Claire's did her makeup. Them uneven, look at them eyelids. See, I don't roast women's appearance unless they try to like overestimate their value. Now I'm gonna roast your appearance because I get it. Like we're not, you're not in control of your appearance. Well, unless you put on makeup and you just fucked it up. But everybody, if everybody wanted to, everybody would just look great, right? If it was up to them. So I don't roast people's appearances unless they try to walk in the room on some whole I'm better than you type shit. Now it's like, okay, now I'm going to like focus on shallow shit because you started the shallow argument type of thing. Right? Like this with hoop, this woman is wearing hoop earrings and micros with makeup that looked like a fucking 15-year-old. No joke. She was 15. I knew a girl who was 15. It was a friend of mine's cousin's daughter, and she could do makeup better than this woman. She was in America. This was in America. This was in Ohio. And that 15-year-old girl could do makeup better than this shit. This makeup she looked like she did her makeup in a dimly lit room with cheap. This makeup looks cheap. Look at this. The eyebrows, all that shit looks. The eyebrows, the lipstick, none of that shit is going together well. For her to be trying to talk like she's too good for some shit. For men who've seen properly done makeup, it's not the worst makeup, but it's not on some old I think I'm too good for you shit. She looks like if I was to bump faces with her, if her head went into a pillow, like it would just leave, like all the makeup would be stuck in the pillow. That's probably why she ain't wanting to come upstage. That's probably why she ain't wanting to come in. Her place is probably a fucking wreck. Because again, it's always the ones who try to act like there's some higher shit who are really like fucking filthy or pathetic or embarrassing. It's always those. The ones who try to act like there's something better and all that, and they don't settle for less and all that shit like that. It's always those, like this type of woman. These are the type of women who, like, when you go see her flat, or if she even lives alone, she might be living with somebody else in a spare bedroom or some shit like that. Like when you go see parts of her real life, she's usually like, these type of people are usually disgusting, like for real, like are really disgusting. What's up, King Riches? I meant to text you last week, man. Last week I got so confused on time. I thought I was so confused on time. I think I only live streamed one day last week, but I was so confused on. My days are all mixed up because we went to the zoo Saturday with Kratos and the baby mama, and he was good the first part, but man, like the whole second half was just terrible. He's one, man. He don't know shit. Like so she got sad because I had to check him because the baby started because he want to walk around sometimes, and so like we let him walk around a bit, and he started doing his whole shit like he gonna walk us and we not walking him, and he tried to like walk all off to the side, so I had to go, and so I had to sit. I was in the middle of like this, like almost like an amphitheater, like this mini amphitheater type of setting, and I was down on one knee holding him, like saying like shit, like he don't know what I'm saying, but he needs to know somebody's gonna check him, and I'm just holding him saying no, chill out, and he's doing this whole I'm just holding him until he chills the fuck out, right? Because he got the order. He think like he's gonna walk us somewhere. Like no, we walking you, bruh. You the child. We're walking, you not walking us. I'm walking you. So I'm in there in front of the only black guy probably in the whole goddamn zoo, and I'm down on one knee with this little motherfucker holding him and just staring at him like, chill out, ain't nothing wrong with you, chill out. Not yelling at him, not popping him, not just holding him, right? So he was ridiculous. So anytime I got to get serious, then she gets sad because she thinks, my spouse, she thinks that I'm mad at her because then she goes, oh, it was a mistake bringing him to the zoo. And I said, no, it wasn't a mistake. And I truly mean this. It wasn't a mistake taking him to the zoo because he's going to have to learn he's going to have to learn at some point how to act in public. And even then, we still going to get it wrong. Like either me or you or him, like we all got to learn and, and move with it. So if anything, he definitely ruined like the second half of it, but I said, chalk it up as a learning experience to learn what to do with him in a place like that where he's acting ridiculous, right? So we got to work on it. It's just a work in progress because very few times will a kid just naturally get some shit like that. He's never been to a zoo. He's never been to a place like that was just all walking, different smells, seeing, different shit he's never seen before. He's going to be off, man. He's going to be ridiculous. There's a good chance at some point he's going to be ridiculous or he's going to be in awe the whole time or he's going to be asleep. Right, so it wasn't a waste of a trip. I don't think that at all. She thought it was because to a woman it has to be her emotions and how everybody feels. Like, no, he's a kid. Like, we have to teach him shit. Well, as a man, I have to teach him shit. I got to teach him how to act, how to be, how to move and walk and talk. Right? See, women, as long as everybody just happy, they'll let everybody do whatever they want to do. You see, men, especially boys, we don't get that same. We don't get that same entitlement in life to be able to just be stupid and the world just accept us. See, women can walk like this cunt here. She could just be dumb as fuck and some dude is still in her DMs trying to get pussy out of her. Right? See, men, we don't get that. We got to learn how to act, how to walk and talk and survive on Earth without the relying on, on selling sex in some way. Right? If you sold beauty, why you have kilos of makeup? Yeah. At least people are roasting her in the comments. Oh, they were? Yeah, they probably were. I'm glad. But yeah, but here's the even then, even with this video and people roasting her, I guarantee you right now, there's at least 3 dudes waiting for her to write them back and trying to take her out and all. I guarantee it because she's a woman. She's always going to have that option. No matter how bad no matter how crazy she is, no matter what she does, there is always going to be 2 or 3 guys hovering around her, hoping to get some pussy out of her, willing to pay for something for her, for the exchange, right? So she's never going to really learn. And that's why she's never really going to learn because she's always going to have that option. Always. She went to all that in New York City with the quality women that are here. Yeah. Yeah. It's been a while since I've been to New York, man. But I remember, yeah. Because New York is more of a walking place. When you get to the areas where people got to walk, you get out. Yeah, just being skinny won't be enough for women to survive. Because a lot of tech, from when I was in Houston's pretty much built like a bigger version of like Cincinnati. It's not a lot of, well, there's areas in Cincinnati where people do walk, but it's not like a walking culture. Like out here is a walking culture. So like when American, or like I remember like when I would meet American or Australian women here, or like some kind of way like see them or meet or talk to them, like they immediately realize like I can't, like being skinny won't be enough. Just being skinny won't be enough. Like they actually have to do something else, get better at makeup and shit like that. But see, yeah, in New York's the same. New York, from what I remember, is a pretty similar situation. Like being skinny alone just won't be enough to demand shit, right? Whereas like in Dayton, Ohio, it's enough to just demand, right? Like once you get to places where people don't walk, that's all you need to demand shit. We need that King Richards collab. Well, yeah, I'm down for it, man. I got a baby now, and life just going crazy with the baby, But yeah, I'm down to do any type of collaboration with anybody. this having a baby just fucked me up as far as like being punctual. Now, okay, because I was usually always punctual for meeting anywhere, but now I'm always like consistently 5 and 10 and 15 minutes late max. Usually max 15 minutes, but I'm usually like super punctual. Just having a baby just like changed all that shit, dude. Like, not to the point where I think it's okay. I don't think it's okay to be late, but it's just like thinking is just everything's just kind of like up in the air. Because this is my only kid, so it's like it definitely impacted me a bit weird. But yeah, I'm gonna get out of here because I gotta pee and it's 10. So I'll catch y'all later, man. Thanks for everybody who tuned in, liked or subscribed or anything, commented. Thanks for tuning in. Hope y'all have a good day, evening, night. And I catch you on the flippity flip, man. I'm out.